Hey everybody, welcome to another model building workshop this summer, coming to you from the Smith Hill Library, part of the Providence Community Library here in Providence, Rhode Island. And we are looking at the Airfix kit of the Dornier DO17E and F kit. This is a classic old Airfix kit. It's been around quite a while. I built this as a kid, enjoyed it a lot, and decided I'm going to relive my childhood and do this again. The box art here shows an early war Dornier 17 in action against Poland. Rather dramatic pictures there of a dogfight going on with the Polish fighters. Yeah. So the Dornier 17 was known as the flying pencil, well, because of this very slender design it had. It was a very fast aircraft, and it was used as both a bomber and as a reconnaissance plane. It originally entered service with the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, in 1937. It was used by the Condor Legion, which was the German volunteer group which went to help with the Spanish Civil War, fighting on the side of the nationalists. So this was used as a bomber there and reconnaissance aircraft. And it, like I said, it was used early in World War II as a bomber and as a reconnaissance plane. Basically, I think it started to be phased out of use around the Battle of Britain in favor of later versions, because the Dornier 17, as we see, this is the E and the F versions, but this had gone on all the way through the alphabet, ending with an infamous type Z, and the Z was used heavily in the Battle of Britain and then even into the battles on the Eastern Front. So, a very successful design, went through many different changes and variants, different engines, different styles, and yeah. So, in traditional cases with German aircraft that start to become obsolete, like the Dornier EF models here of the 17, it started to get farmed out to some of their satellite states. So, while I think this kit's going to be great, though I have built it before, and I'm looking forward to building it again, I decided to go with a set of decals from Cora Decals, and I'm going to do this one in a Croatian design. So these are Croatian Air Force planes, because Croatia had a puppet state which was under the control of the Germans, as the Yugoslavia was divided up by the Axis powers, and some of these little states that formed up Yugoslavia were given their, well, independence, like Croatia was, but still they were overseen by either the Germans or the Italians, or the Hungarians or the Bulgarians, depending on where, what part was annexed by which country, because Yugoslavia got carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey, basically, during that war period. Okay, so we have a couple of examples here of Dornier 17Es that were used by the Croatians in 1943 and 1944. So, but let me show you the kit, right? So this kit's been around a while. Like I said, I built it when I was pretty young, so it's, you know, these molds keep going. So this has the typical Airfix instruction guide, which has all of their paint callouts and the Humbrol line of paint, although it does give you the names of the paint in this instruction sheet, which is kind of nice. They don't often do that now. They just give you a number and leave it to you to go reference it on the computer or through a Airfix catalog. So there are a couple of fun splintered camouflage types here from the early war period that are using the gray, green, and brown camouflage over a light blue. These are from the 1937 period. I'm assuming it would have been the same, probably the same planes that would have been working in Poland in 1939. Not exactly clear on that, but it's something you might be able to research and reference, because after all, I mean, that's what they're implying with this box art. Unless it's totally fiction, who knows? But anyhow, although there are many other ways you can paint this, as I just point it out because Cora decals is one of many different options of things you could do. So this has a slightly confusing style of blow-up illustrations, but after you've built a few of these Airfix kits, you start to get the hang of this. For a kid, it would be a little challenging, although, like I said, I did this as a kid, and I wasn't that old. Maybe 10, I think. You know, my dad was around, you know, so he probably helped, but, you know, you kind of work your way through some of the sub-assemblies. But it would have been nice if they sequenced some of that so you knew where to start, because the kid's just going to go, wah! You know, as I've seen here in the model building workshop, although we have not tried to do this kit here at the library. So there are a few choices, and I think the only real difference between the Type E and the Type F of the Dornier 17, at least for this kit is concerned, is in the canopy windows. Because the E model has a machine gun that comes out of the cockpit window, and the F doesn't, and I think there is a couple of extra parts that would go for like a bomb sight, I guess, for the E. And I think that is the end of the differentiation between the two types as far as parts of building this model. So, and then it has a rather complicated landing gear system. I remember that being a little tricky. Although if you want to put it in wheels up mode, does it show you that here? I think it was just a one-piece closed wheel. Yeah. It does show you, not very effectively, but it does show you over here what it would, I think, what the closed, yeah, wheels up version is, which is extremely simple, and I'll show you what it looks like in the parts. All right, now to get this back together, it's like map folding 101. And here's the Cora decal set here, and the checkerboards of the Croatian Air Force. So I started working on getting some of the preliminary painting done for the cockpit pieces and the wheel wells to a slight degree. The RLM gray green color there, typical of the interior of German aircraft at the time. Did some, got the machine guns ready, and we'll see how that goes. And okay, oops. So here's your. This is why they call it the flying pencil, because you get, yeah, if I can get that to cooperate with me. Maybe not. Anyway, I was trying to give you a sense. It doesn't really want to behave, but anyhow, there's your pencil design. And I started getting a base coat of the yellow here so I could start masking off that fuselage stripe, which is going to be on this plane, typical of aircraft on the eastern front with the Axis. And again, doing the same thing, getting the wings together and getting that yellow, prepping that and getting it ready now. Here's the top of the wing. So it's a very wide wingspan and a thin pencil-like fuselage. Here is the decal sheet. Oops. Oh, come on. That goes with the kit. A few different options there, which look to be quite good. If you were to go with any of these German designs, which they look quite crisp, quite clear. And then I've been working on the crew, doing a little research on Croatian Air Force uniforms, which were not that different from Luftwaffe, the Germans. So, anyhow, that looks like it's going to be a fun project, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I have built this as a child. I thought it was great fun. Make sure that the glass is in here. And it is down the bottom. notice with children, that's like the first thing that gets missing is all the glass pieces, because they just throw the bags away and don't notice, oh, there's glass pieces in here. Oops. So be careful, parents, if you're going to do this with a kid, make sure that, you know, toss the glass out, those glass parts, you know, clear plastic. Cork decals, and I often do this, get some reference photos off the, or artwork off the internet. So this shows other variations that you would have. Yeah, there's the Condor Legion up top. There's the Croatian one. German one down the bottom. Yeah, as an example of that early paint scheme from the 1930s that they would use. Yeah, same here. Just kind of a nice look. Let's see anything else. So the difference here, yeah. That's a very dramatic one, which has the large Nazi emblems, which would have been there in the late 30s. Noisy day out there. Okay, so that's a quick look at the 17 and all its different variations. Okay, hope you're enjoying your summer, and we'll be talking to you guys real soon. Bye now.